It was anything but magical for Tom Brady in Super Bowl 42 against the Giants. 17-14 was the final score. That was the year that the Patriots were running up pinball machine numbers pretty much most of the regular season. Steve Spagnuolo was the coordinator of the Giants defense that day. Oh, and Spagnuolo is the coordinator of the Chiefs defense now. Tom Brady yesterday, when meeting with the media, talked about facing Spagnuolo again with the Chiefs defense that has a couple of guys that could probably give Brady a hard time. Here's Brady talking about that.
It's tough. I think Spags runs a great scheme, and I think he really caters to the strength of his players. And I think his scheme's evolved different times, and I've played him several times over the last, 13, 14 years. He's got, I think he's a tremendous coach. Everyone seems to love to play for him. And it's a tough game. So I know he's going to have those guys ready to go. They'll be prepared. They got a lot of great players on that defense, a lot of veterans, a lot of guys who really understand football. Obviously, the moment's not too big for those guys. They've been on the biggest stage last year, and they played a great game and beat the Niners to win last year's Super Bowl. So it's going to be pretty tough.
Trying to figure out whether that hair is a fashion statement or just bedhead. I don't know. I kind of like it, though. A little poofy there for Tommy yesterday.
Poofy. Yeah, but I think that was intentional, though. I think he got all dolled up and wanted to make sure he looked good for the press conferences. So there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'd probably do the same. It's Tuesday, right? Well, yesterday was not Tuesday, though, so they didn't have a day off. But for a football player, a Monday, with a week like this, could have been a very easy day for the players. I don't know exactly the schedule for Tampa, but when you've had extra days of practice already, I would think this week is, curtailed a little bit and not exactly your normal week. He probably had some free time to go get a haircut before he got in there and did all his media stuff.
He also said he's cleared out the house. No one's there. It's just him. Full Super Bowl focus heading into this game. He knows what kind of a challenge it's going to be. He knows that he's got Chris Jones and Frank Clark to deal with. I still vividly recall the moment in the Chiefs-Patriots game 2019 season when a touchdown, I think, would have tied it, so much for clearly recalling it, but it was something like that. A touchdown maybe in a two-pointer would have tied it, and he had Julian Edelman open, and here comes Frank Clark, and that was the old pill bug routine, get rid of the football and curl up in a ball, as anyone with a brain would do, because it's Frank Clark coming right at you. And what did we see against the Bills? It's like every time I looked up, Chris Jones is busted through chasing Josh Allen around, and that's how you fluster Tom Brady. You get that pressure up the middle. That offensive line, which is held up very well, and it started with the Washington game. They took it to heart when Chase Young was talking about, how he wants to face Tom Brady. That offensive line is going to really have to be stout against Jones and Clark, Chris.
It is, but it has been, Mike. That's the great thing about what they've done, too, in Tampa. I mean, it's unbelievable. Their offensive line, their pass protection. We talked about it last week. We didn't even say Zadarius Smith or Preston Smith's name in the Green Bay Packers game. They have been phenomenal in pass protection. And even the week before that, against the great New Orleans Saints defense in front and everything they had to deal with. So I would expect them to be able to protect the front four. I don't remember Jones going off in the first game. They got great size on that Tampa offensive line. But the Spags element is real, and the Spags element did get to Brady in the first matchup. And both of his interceptions, one especially, was pressure-related. And one was exactly what you're kind of talking about, Mike. If you can remember, their last interception, Brady gets the ball. Spags does a creative blitz off the left side. Brady kind of ducks and chucks. He doesn't want to get hit, right? We've talked about it. He's 43. He can't be perfect. But as he's doing that, if you remember, he's kind of falling away and fading away and throws the ball, and it goes off of his own lineman's helmet and then gets intercepted. Spagnuolo's ability to do different things on a weekly basis, disguise, make defenses that are different look the same at the snap or right before the snap, that's where he's special. And I don't give a damn if you played quarterback for 20 years, 100 years, or whatever it is. He's going to throw some blitzes and some coverages at you that you won't be prepared for, or that are going to confuse you for a split second and maybe throw off your timing and rhythm, and that's going to be something to watch for sure in this one, Mike.
And we know that Bruce Arians likes to get the ball down the field. The Chiefs' defense has been excellent when it comes to defending the deep balls. 41% completion percentage. That stinks. That's first in the league. It stinks for the offenses, obviously. 10 touchdowns, 15 picks, and a passer rating of a paltry 63.3. And you can't even get the ball down the field if you can't get rid of the football because you've been, pummeled by Frank Clark, Chris Jones, or whoever else comes to the party. We saw what happened with the Darnell Savage safety blitz between the Packers and the Bucs. That caused Tom Brady to throw one up into the air that Jair Alexander was able to catch. And, hey, the Chiefs, I think, defensively, and just like the Bucs defense, the Chiefs defense gets overlooked and disregarded because It's all about the offense. That defense is pretty damn good. And, boy, I hope we have a close, exciting game, but there's a way this thing goes where it's 17-0 again, but instead of 27-24, it's 41-10 by the time it's all said and done. And I hope to hell that doesn't happen.
I hear you. I think that's what I think is amazing about the matchup. I really do. I was texting about this with my dad last night, but I've said a similar thought. It's just funny you said it. I could see the Buccaneers winning the game, certainly. But I just think if they win the game, it's going to be a very close one, late field goal type of thing. I could see the Chiefs winning the game that way as well. Yeah, just like the first one or whatever. But I am with you. I do think there is an element in this one, as unlike any Super Bowl I can remember really in recent history, to where I go, this Chiefs team, you catch them on the wrong day and make a mistake or two I think a blowout is a possibility in this one. I don't expect it, certainly not. But we know the way that the Chiefs can come out, put plays on put points on the board, and then make plays on the defensive side of the ball. We've yet to see them really play a complete, really awesome total football game this year. And I think they realize that they might be saving it for this weekend. And between the way they're playing on offense, the health of their secondary, Mike, because that's the other thing Brady and Arians are going to have to deal with. Man, the Chiefs are a better secondary, compared to Week 12, with everybody being healthy now. Brashad Breeland totally back, ready to go. Fenton there, L'Jarius Sneed, the rookie. They're an impressive group back there to where I don't think they're going to have to be totally scared about matching up with Tampa. Yeah, you don't want to do it and make a living of it, but I think they can certainly roll the dice and blitz and live on an island, from time to time and have success.
And Snead got out of concussion protocol yesterday, so he'll be good to go come Sunday. And
they
think about Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. This is number 10 for him. The 9 prior times, they were all close games. The only game that was more than one score was the 13-3 outcome 2 years ago against the Rams, and that was still a close game. It just wasn't a one-score game. Brady hasn't blown anyone out. Brady hasn't been blown out. He knows how to keep it close. He knows how to keep the doors from flying off. And one of the reasons is he had Bill Belichick scheming up the defense. Brady yesterday talked about his time with the Patriots and specifically Bill Belichick. Here's Brady on Bill.
I have a great relationship with him. And again, I'm just incredibly grateful for, what he's meant in my life as a coach. And he was everything you could ask for as a player. And, I love my time. I had 2 incredible decades there. And, my football journey took me to a different place. And I certainly could never have accomplished the things in my career without his support and his teachings, and incredible coach and mentor for me. And I've had a lot of those in my career, but obviously he's at the top of the list.
Easy to take the high road when you're getting ready for the Super Bowl and the other guy's home watching. I just can't help it because we know that Tom had enough of Bill, and maybe now with the passage of time and distance, it's easier to reflect fondly on it. But Tom Brady had reached the expiration date. He had had his lifetime limit of dealing with Bill Belichick. That's one of the reasons why he left.
Well, I mean, yes, sure. I mean, it's not easy to deal with a head coach that way for that long, and yes, it brings the best out of you. I'm sure Brady had points, yeah, where, I mean, I got to get out of here, man. They don't respect me. Can I get a little love every now and then? That's not the way the Patriots work. We know that. That's why Brady is who he is, because they didn't do that. They made him tough as hell. It was the culture who made Brady. I don't care what all the ex-players say, okay? Sorry. But he understands that, and even though he'd love to shove it up New England and Belichick's butt and win a Super Bowl and an MVP this weekend and go, hey, screw you. I did it myself. I don't need you guys. I still think Tom Brady is very smart, very grateful for his time with Bill Belichick, understands the greatness of what they did. And I just think as time passes more and more, they'll realize how special it was, and he'll be over this, oh, I did it without you and you didn't do it without me type of stuff.
Danny Amendola made that comment yesterday on FS1. When you see Patriot Way in the dictionary, it's going to have Tom Brady's name next to it. None of those coaches threw any passes. None of those coaches caught any passes. They got guys in the right position because they watch a lot of film and spend all their time at the facility. Tom Brady is the Patriot Way, and that's the reason why Tom Brady's in the Super Bowl right now.
That doesn't sound like a bitter player who didn't get kept around by a coach. I mean, geez.
No, that sounds like a guy who's about to become a free agent and may want to be wearing a pewter helmet next year. That's what it sounds like to me, frankly.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. And, listen, of course they're both responsible. We know they're both amazing, definitely. But the Patriot Way, and I'll disagree with Danny Amendola to the day I die, that is ridiculous that he just said that. I mean, it's Bill Belichick. It's not even close. They went to the first Super Bowl. They didn't even need Tom Brady in the AFC Championship game. He had 145 yards and won in the Super Bowl. There's a number of games throughout. We know the first 3 Super Bowls were run the ball, manage the offense, play defense. That wasn't the Brady way. That was the Belichick way. Sorry. And then they developed into, hey, Brady is getting really good. Let's infuse the Brady way into the Belichick Patriot way and start throwing the ball and spreading it out. So he had a great culture and coaches to push his buttons, drive him. And, of course, he was willing to work and take the abuse from the coaches and Belichick and all that to get better. And that's where it's a beautiful harmony. But the Patriot way starts with one guy. And I don't think Tom Brady would even dispute that.
I was at that game 19 years ago in Pittsburgh when the Patriots came to town to play the Steelers. Troy Brown has the punt return for a touchdown. The Patriot defense burst the bubble that was the latest Cordell Stewart on a high note. He would get better and better and better, and then the bubble would pop, and he'd regress dramatically and then have to build it all up again. But Brady got injured in that game. You're right, knee injury, gone. And that was one of those years where there was just 1 week between conference championship and Super Bowl. And there was a period of time after that game where it's like, well, they got to go with Bledsoe, right? Brady just got injured. He's not going to be healthy for the Super Bowl. Bledsoe played. They won. Bledsoe's back after almost getting killed by Mo Lewis. And they put that to bed fairly quickly before it could really take root. And Brady was back, and the rest is history. So we'll see what kind of history Brady and the Buccaneers can make on Sunday against Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.